Hi, I'm Tony Soares. Today I'm going to be demonstrating on how crescents may have been used in the olden days, about 5 to 10,000 years ago, on some of the Great Basin lakes here in the Southwest. These are a variety of different types. Kind of got some with the jagged edges in the front. Some are butterfly crescents. Some are just kind of a plain crescent. I did a variety of lashings on these crescents. This one was just from the back end. I did glue them in. And this one I did do a little bit of wrapping over the front end. It was kind of tricky to wrap these things. They want to fall out pretty easy. So on this one I made a shoulder notch in the back here. Looks similar to this. This would be the stick part and the lashing. I just carved out a little thing. One of them had a little branch on it. The other one had I carved that one in. And a lot of these crescents are found broken. So let me turn it around this way so you can see it. It looks like they may have hit something and broke off at that angle. Maybe it was the neck of a bird, maybe a wing, maybe it hit a rock, but most of them have an angular break like that. So if they were traveling in that direction, they would have hit something and broke off. Some folks say that they were used for, opening clams up or whatever, but clams are easy to just throw them on the fire. They pop right open. They're also found in lake beds where there are no clams or fish. So whatever, they could have been used for skinning. Maybe they were buttons on a shirt, who knows, but I just don't find them to work that way. So we're going to be throwing these in a little bit here. I also want to test the buoyancy of them and see if they float or sink. I did use pine pitch and charcoal on some of these to resin them in there. This one I used a little bit of pine pitch and charcoal in the beginning, but then I added pine pitch to some iron oxide and it gives it more of a red color. And we'll see that it seems pretty strong, but still this stuff is kind of brittle. The folks out here did use a glue called Sanop, and it means bug glue in Chemehuevi. And you warm it up and put it on there. It's very much like the pine pitch resin. It's fairly strong. It's from midge fly lac, I guess is what it is. I'm going to be using a basket maker atlatl. Not really a Great Basin atlatl, but there's some very similar to this out here. And works pretty good for me. Also, I got, I believe, one mule fat and one red willow dart, coyote willow and mule fat, hollowed out. I'm using the synthetic sinew on all these just because I'm going to be pitching them and breaking them. So, and then I'm going to use a piece of willow, insert into the creosote cane, inserted into arrowweed there with a cane socket in the front. I've seen one of these in the San Bernardino Museum here in Southern California. Heavily wrapped piece of cane over a piece of, I believe it was a piece of mule fat. This one's going to be arrowweed. So it leaves a nice big socket. Plug in your dart. We'll see what happens. See if we can't get these things to break right. Alright, so I said I was going to do a buoyancy test on these just to see what happens with these foreshafts and crescents. So looks like most of them have sank to the bottom. This one is still floating. And could you imagine those on the lake bottom? They would have probably been stirred around by the waves and whatnot and worked their way back into shore. Maybe. Maybe they would have just sank to the bottom after a little while. Back in the day, if they were throwing these things at the flocks of birds, they probably would have had a cane dart that they were plugged into. Some of them would have obviously fallen out. Some of them they would have been able to recover and reuse, but if they did sink to the bottom, they wouldn't have been finding them. And that's why they find a lot of these on the shores and all around the lake beds, and they may have been broke by plows more recent time when they're plowing the fields, because there are a lot of fields now in these lake beds. But 4 out of 5 sank. Maybe if it was a little bit longer foreshaft, it would have stayed afloat, but maybe they were using shorter foreshafts too. Here's the target that I'm setting up here. Wanted to see the breakage on these bits of willow here, these sticks. Some are about a 1/2 inch thick. Most of them are about a 1/2 inch or 3/8. And could you imagine trying to hit a bird in flight or maybe in a flock? You know, you'd probably spear one, but a lot of times birds will fly with arrows in them. So if you break a wing, these are going to be the wings or the necks. You don't want to use the real birds out here in California. They'd probably throw you in prison real quick. So we're going to test breakage not only on wings and necks, but also on the crescents to see how durable they are against the target. And there's the backdrop, because I hope to recover the pieces. And we will see here in a second. So I'm going to do a little test with these blunts against the target over there. You can see the target in the background. I'm about 15 paces back. If you were aiming for a flock, you could be back way further, but I want to show you how these things would slip through the wings or the necks of that target over there. So I'm going to give it a quick try here. All right, dart number 1. Didn't hit the stick. Dart number 2. You see how they glid right past the stick. So if you was right on target, you would have killed the bird. But if you wanted to break a wing or a neck, we'll see how the crescents work. Okay, we're gonna do crescent test number 1 here. That was a hit. Let's do crescent test number 2, and this is going to be with the creosote cane, arrowweed, willow. Oh. Well, I cut the string off. Okay, so here goes 2 more crescents, number 4 and 5 here, and we'll check for breakage. That one went in between. Alright, so there's the target. It's been devastated. I'll take these inside in a minute and show you, but most of the lashings have broken off. Very little damage to the crescents, but they did fly off, and the foreshafts are kind of beat up. Alright, I'm back in the dome. The one that was just lashed and glued just like that came out pretty quick. I believe I threw this one once or twice. It took a beating, but you know, the foreshaft would still work. This one did not break or chip. The ears, I'll call them, they're intact. This one was pretty bomber. It did fly out of the thing. we did manage to break a stick off of the willow target and sheared that thing clean, so that would, that's pretty strong. That'd definitely be a wing break or a neck break on a bird. That one came off, that one came off. So damage, I just see looks like one impact fracture right there. But the little ears hang on there. This one looks like it's alright also. Maybe a little bit of damage right there. So they would be able to be reused over and over. At some point, they'll get a break, but like I say, maybe a plow breaks off some of those things, or a rock when it hits. But there wouldn't be a rock in the lake. For what it's worth, maybe some of you guys in some of them leaner states that don't have crazy waterfowl laws could try out some of these crescents on flocks of birds, ducks or geese, when they're all flocked together on the lake, and pitch one or two and see what you get. Thanks for watching.